So I don't have too many more questions. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to mention or talk about in terms of the internship.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd just say to definitely show your personality
Mm,
because I think that every intern that was there, I mean,
yeah.
there was a reason we all got along so well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
they didn't pick the interns that kind of, but I don't know if they didn't pick them or what, but everyone that I interacted with anyway was very personable,
Hmm.
very friendly, kind of very
Hmm.
up for meeting new people and trying new things.
Yeah.
And I think that when people are hiring, they're obviously hiring to kind of find people to work with them. And
Hmm.
no one, even if you're amazingly clever and have um, so much finance knowledge, if you're boring or kind of like have a bad attitude, they're not going to want to work with you. Do you know what I mean? They'd much
Mm,
rather spend the money and time and train someone else that's going to be fun to work with. So I think it's definitely important to show that like, you have other interests other than
mm,
investment banking and try and use that to your advantage as well as any knowledge or reading that you may do.
mm. Yeah, I think that's so important. I think the attitude, from my experience, they'd want people who are kind of enthusiastic,
Yeah,
and had to, yeah, it's a can-do attitude, and also be a bit interesting. You're absolutely right. So having something that makes them unique, that kind of made in Chelsea
yeah,
story is so important in an interview.
yeah,
People, when you go into an interview, you think it's all about you, and it kind of is, but then there's about
yeah,
another 20 people who
yeah,
people are interviewing, so you really need to stand out. That's the
yeah.
biggest
And it's
thing.
also when in the day it was just keep asking questions. That's what
Yeah.
everyone would say is keep asking questions.
Mm,
And I found that every seniority level, if you wanted to ask them a question, they would at some point in that day kind of give you 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long you
mm,
needed to answer that question and like answer it properly and answer any follow-on questions that you had,
mhm.
which was amazing for kind of 1 month in intern
Yeah.
with no finance experience to get kind of real world answers
Mm,
from people that have been doing it for so long.
mm.
And they loved answering questions as well is the thing. Like they kind of love not showing off their knowledge but kind of passing on their knowledge to other
Yeah.
people, so it was really good.
Oh, that's great. Well, Emily, thank you so much for your time. We
No worries
really
at
appreciate
all.
giving top tips for an internship.
Yeah, I hope
I
that
mean,
helps some
it's a kind
people.
of rite of passage in the industry because, it's so important to have an internship experience under your belt.
Yeah,
Um, and it can be tough. I think the application process is tough, and then the actual experience can be quite tough as well. But it's a very,
yeah,
very good
definitely.
experience. But I really appreciate your time, and
No
thank you so
worries at
much.
all. Thank you very much for having me.